What up, people? Man, I gotta say, that was a great card. I mean, just about, except for one fight, just about every fight ended up on the broadcast. There were some great stoppages. I thought the main event was an awesome fight. I mean, I don't know how much more you could ask for besides, a title fight, but I thought that was a really good show, and definitely, as always, good times were had by all. Whew, man, let's get this going. You got Rampage Jackson looking for another shot at the title versus Keith Jardine. Who's always whew, who's always a tough fight. He's always not always a tough fight. Sometimes he goes kind of easily, but he's a very tough fighter, and he's like I said, in this particular fight, I saw this is the proverbial trap game for Rampage. Like sometimes that team that's not expected to win, but it can really, if you overlook them, they can really just come back to bite you in the ass. And I was hoping against hope that this wouldn't happen to Quentin tonight. Keith Jardine, he put up a much better fight than I anticipated. Than in the past, he's shown he doesn't exactly have the ability to take a punch too good, but against Quentin, he took some very good shots. Some people say that Quentin looked bad. I don't think so. I thought he looked great. He's knocked out people with a lot less than what he did to Keith Jardine. Um, and I got to say, it was a very exciting fight. Some people say, I think Keith Jardine or something, said that one of the judges said he lost the fight in the last 5 to 10 seconds. I don't I think that's an injustice to Rampage, basically. I mean, here you go. You got a effective, let's see, effective striking, grappling, aggression, octagon control, maybe another factor. Um, I think Quentin in all 3 rounds was trying to kill Jardine. Jardine was just basically trying to stay alive, working his leg kicks. Maybe he did some good in and out motions. Quentin, was working with the clinch. Get him against the cage, taking him down. And to Keith's credit, I know they talk about his ground game, which he hasn't showed very much, but he certainly has a great ability to get out of the takedowns. Rampage is a very strong guy, and if you can get out from under him, you're pretty good. Uh, Altogether, I think Quentin won that fight hands down. I gave him all 3 rounds. Some people may say something about the first, but I think the last 2 he definitely won. And Keith, for all his awkwardness, for his noted leg kicks, I think against a great fighter like Quentin Jackson, he needs a little bit more or something. Maybe he needs to clean up his style a little bit more, because that awkward herky jerky stuff he does against a striker like Quentin Jackson could get him in a lot of trouble, just like it did tonight. But Keith Jardine is no doubt a warrior, and I gained a lot of respect for him in this fight. He's definitely a top fighter at 205. Congratulations to Quentin Jackson. So he's moving on to Rashad Evans, and the hype for that was just amazing. I was, I love hype. What can I say? It fired up everyone in the house. I definitely was funny to see those two go at it, on the mic, and I cannot wait for some black on black crime at UFC 98. Shane Carwin, the big man, the juggernaut, the tank. I mean, he takes on Gabriel Napao Gonzaga. It kind of reminded me when I was watching this fight, when Shane Carwin got in trouble, it brought back to, when he was talking about like how people are always getting on him for, taking punches to give a punch. And Shane brags about how he doesn't really feel anybody's, punches or anything, how it doesn't really worry about that. Well, it almost came back to haunt him, because he got rocked really bad by Gabriel Gonzaga early in the fight. He took some good shots, but to Shane's credit, he had a lot of heart. That was some adversity right there. He got hit. You could see when he grabbed onto him, when he clinched onto him, he wasn't all there. He got taken down with a big ass Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt on top of you. He got out and just ended up knocking Gabriel Gonzaga to the moon. I mean, he just knocked him the fuck out. It was another string of great knockouts. But anyway, Shane, that makes him 11-0. No one's getting out of the first or second round with this guy. He's a wrecking machine. and he's definitely a factor. I'm excited to see what he can do in the heavyweight division. I'm excited to see who they bring against him next. Gabriel Gonzaga, it's a tough loss, but I think he'll be okay. He definitely needs to work on the defense. Not take those punches like that. But he got knocked out by a knockout artist. I mean, there's good effort by both guys. We'll see. We'll see how they go. Gabriel's only 29 years old. 9 years old. Ooh, he's probably 9 years old when he caught that shot, but 29, and he'll be okay. Good fighter for the only Brazilian on the card. Wow, that was American heavy right there. Anyway, Pete Sell, Matt Brown. Now, Eve Levine, he's known as a pretty good ref, but however, that was the worst reffing I have ever seen, ever, in any sport. That was the worst ref job in the history of refereeing. I mean, and it's kind of bad since, he overcame a whole lot of Steve Mazzagatti to take that man's title, and some of the what the hell was he thinking? I mean, Matt Brown knocks him. I mean, it's one thing if you think Pete Sell's done, Matt Brown knocked him down. Some people thought, it may have been an early stoppage or something, but if you stopped it, you stopped it. You can't restrain a guy from from finishing the job, then, start the match again. That's outright cheating. I mean, then, Matt Brown was, beating him. It's like, dude, what the hell? Are you going to stop this fight? I mean, Pete Sell was clearly out. Eve, I think a mistake he made was, he second-guessed himself. He was right when he saw it. His first instinct was to stop the fight, and I thought he did. That was a good decision. He would have got criticized for it. Everybody would have thought it was early, but it was clearly seeing the way that fight played out. You need to go with your first instinct. If you're going to stop the fight, let the fight stay stopped. That's not fair to Matt, and it's definitely not fair to Pete Sell. For him to take all those shots, that was just inexcusable. Anyway, Matt the Hammer Hamill versus Mark Munoz, the Filipino wrecking machine. Man, all I can say is, I think my brother said it best. Mark leaned left when he should have leaned right. And he got his head kicked. I mean, he hit a home run with his ass. Great show of versatility by Matt Hamill. It's good to see him, continuously developing his skills, and I think he still may have a bright future ahead. It's like he took a tough loss to Rich Franklin, an ugly win over Reese Andy, tough Reese Andy. It was a very impressive victory for Matt. Made himself 60 grand, for a great, made himself 60 grand for the knockout of the night. One of the most impressive knockouts I've seen. I think he kicked him in the head, then Mark's head landed on his own knee. It was nasty. And I think the opening fight of the card, Gray Maynard and Jim Miller. I think it's time for Gray Maynard to go back to fight night. Back to fight nights. I won't put him on the prelims, but I think he's definitely a good main event for a fight night, or maybe against something like that. I mean, it's a good win. It was a lot more exciting than his last fight, but I want to see people at least try to finish people. That playing it safe garbage, I hate it. I mean, no one wants to sit there and watch you. I mean, it's a dangerous sport, but you got to do it. He had Jim Miller on the ropes a lot and just basically sat on his lead. And he has some good boxing. He could have beat this guy, but just sat there and made me wait all 15 minutes. That does not deserve to be on pay-per-view. We need to take his ass back down to fight night. Lots of great stoppages, lots of great fights. Brandon Vera just basically taking Mike Pat out at the knees. Just those leg kicks were sick. Good to see Brandon Vera get his edge back. Kendall Grove is good to see. I like Kendall Grove. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's good to see him get a win. And let me see, who else is on there? Tandem McCoy, that was a good fight with him. As I thought it was a very good show. I enjoyed myself immensely, and I'm very excited for UFC 98. We'll see you at UFC 97. I'll holla at you.